Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Fishy Business on the Friday evening, 9 o'clock UK time. I don't know why I'm telling you that. You probably already know that. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm a bit squint. Is that better? Get in the middle of the frame, Graham. Slightly better. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Let me know if you can hear me and see me, as I said. I'm going to assume that you can and rattle on regardless. Who have we got in? We've got Nabokov fan saying, smash that like button on the way in. Thank you very much. As always. Entry requirements for the Friday night fun is 1 like, 1 comment, 1 thing. Click a thing, do a thing. That's all you need to do to say hello. Ross from a quite warm Edinburgh. Well, it's not too cold here. I was going to say it's a bit wet, but it's kind of dried up today, but it's not too bad. Weather chat, that's what you all come for. Stuart from a cloudy, not raining yet, Wolverhampton. GB says hello. A damp Northumberland for Brian. A mildly moist Norfolk for Sharpie. Gailey says hello. Streetlight still not on, so still lightish. Well, it's just going a little bit dark. I've just been out reviewing my pond. So that'll be a topic of discussion for the evening. What else have we got lined up for the evening? We've got the quiz. Everyone cross everything that I get the link right. We'll do the quiz. There will be prizes. I've got a new chair and I feel very high up. There's the old chair in the background. I don't know. I think this is as low as it goes. And you might just see me disappear. So you'll have to put up with this. Or I'll have to put up with it. You probably don't care. So we've got the quiz with prizes. It didn't go quite to plan last week, but we'll try again. We've got some pond chat, so we've got a new project on the way. I wanted to discuss my last video a little bit because it kind of has drawn comment. I guess that's the way to put it. Which I made I'll talk about it a bit. And we have, of course, beer chat. So, what have we got for beers this evening? The first up, I don't know if we'll have this first or not, but we've got North Brewing Company, Songbird, 6% IPA. That looks alright. I think we're all new beers tonight. Seven Brothers, Honeycomb. A sweet and Moorish tasty 4.0. Oh, I might start with that one, then I won't talk nonsense for the rest of the stream. Meet our sweetest beer. Perfectly balanced pale ale with carefully selected hops infused with the essence of honeycomb, creating this extremely Moorish unique pale ale. Yes, let's get this underway. Got the wrong glass again this week, but no matter. While I tell you about, or while I pour this, I'll tell you about my last video. So the last video, if you haven't seen it, was me basically jumping on a bandwagon. I saw other people's make a video, and there was some controversy, and I went, quick, let's talk about this, and we'll see if we can't gain some traction off it. That's a bit pathetic, isn't it? That's not cloudy at all. Not that it claimed to be, but I don't know why I thought it would be. Kind of no smell. Oh, I can definitely taste honey. And now I can smell honeycomb from my breath. Does that make sense? Anyway, there was some drama. Wow, imagine that, YouTube drama, where I don't know whether to dance around this subject or just go in. So basically, the nature tank aquarium people, the people who do no water changes, no filters, you don't need any of that. Your Father Fishies, your LRB Aquatics, and there are many, many more. I think it's Father Fish that's been the focus of this more than anything else, purely because he does make thumbnails that say things like, stop changing water, or stop cleaning your tanks, you're killing your fish. And power to him, it's working. He's amassing huge numbers with these. So a couple of people had made response videos, Ben O'Chart, KG Tropicals, which, to be fair, were very mild and very balanced and very unprovocative, I thought. But seemed to be getting huge amounts of backlash. So I knew nothing about this. I must admit, I don't watch all that many YouTube fishy channels. I happened to watch one of Alex's streams while I was doing a bit of documentation. I had it on in the background. Secret history, living in our aquarium. Really needs to change the name of that. But he mentioned, all this drama about the father fish thing. And I was going, drama? What drama? So I went in search of it and found out what was going on. But apparently the response videos from your KG Tropicals, he got all upset because people were being mean to him and saying, "Oh, you're picking on father fish, you're doing this, that and the other." All a bit of smoke and mirrors and mucking nonsense, all that kind of stuff. But the crux of what he was saying was, like I say, well balanced, true. He was saying, yeah, that's true. He's not saying anything that's a lie. He's not saying, and some of the people did say it's all lies, and I think he said that before. But in the video, when you watch the video, he's saying, yeah, those guys have a very specific type of tank, and don't have to rely on water changes, filters, that kind of thing. If you have that specific type of tank, then you could probably get that too, but most people don't have that or want that. Which was fair enough, and I think that was what I hadn't watched their videos before I made my video. I just found out about the thing, but I made a video about this 2 years ago, the last time they came out and said you shouldn't do water changes. So I was a bit upset that I was like, hey, I've already done this, I've talked about this, okay. So that happened. That was the thing. I made my video saying, yeah, it's true, you can do those things. My point was more about the way people consume YouTube videos. From my experiences, as we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, if you've been following along, most people don't actually watch your videos. They watch, someone has subscribed, The Real World, hello, welcome. They don't actually watch the videos. So if you look at your YouTube analytics, in fact, let's do some of this live and I'll show you what kind of thing I mean. Let's go into the YouTube studio, if we can. Small face. So if you look at these stats here, if you can see that, that's saying, you've got 1,800 views. But particularly this bit, and of those 1,800 views, your average view duration is 5 minutes and 13 seconds, which is actually really good for an 8-minute video or whatever it was. But that's still a fair old percentage of the video that people aren't actually watching, and it's the same as that over most videos. People will not be consuming the content of the video. They'll be watching the thumbnail, they'll be reading the title, and that's it, and making an assumption that they know what the content of the video is. And we talked about this in previous weeks where I was bemoaning the fact that I'll make a video saying something along the lines of the pH of my water is too high, and someone will come on and say, comment, the pH of your water is too high, and I'm like, I know that's what the video is about. Or I'm trying to rehome this tilapia, would anyone like to rehome that tilapia? I can't believe you've not rehomed that tilapia. That's literally what the video is about. I'm trying to do this thing and you're commenting this. So people just do not consume the content in the way that you would expect them to do so. They just read the title, see the thumbnail, and that's it. From a YouTube point of view, your father fishies and all that kind of stuff, if you make a thumbnail that makes people go, what? And it shocks in some way, you don't have to do water changes. It's kind of a nirvana title. It makes people, it's a thing that people want. Nope. I was about to say nobody likes water changes, but I find them quite relaxing. But most people don't want to do water changes. So if somebody's going to present a way that you don't have to do them, bonus, I'm going to click that video and see what this is all about. And to be fair, the content of those videos, I mean, I find it very difficult to watch, if I'm completely honest, because it is a rambling old man, and he is a rambling old man. But not to take away from it, but side note, I do feel that some of his videos in particular are a bit, it's my way or the highway. It's, if you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. And I definitely don't agree with that. But the heavily planted, deep substrate, low stocking level tank, it's true. That's a thing. That will not need as many water changes as any bare tank, or won't need as much filtration, or won't be as reliant on filtration and all that kind of stuff. But he is very preachy about this is the way you should have aquariums, and no other aquariums are correct. Or I get that feel. He doesn't actually say those things, or I don't think he does. Because like I say, I don't watch all that many other videos. But that was the gist of my video, was about people aren't going to watch the video. They're going to take away the least amount of effort, knowledge. So they'll read the minimum amount and then infer upon that whatever they will. So there was that. But then I saw that this was a big drama and that people were upset about this, so I went and watched all the other videos about it and went, well, there's nothing actually dramatic, and no one's calling each other out or starting a fight, or it was all very mundane and bland. And the KG Tropicals video was, there was nothing spicy in it. It was, well, do you know what, this father fish guy, and he didn't even mention him. It was, do you know what, that's perfectly true, but there's a but, and most tanks won't do that. And made, I think, similar points that I was trying to make, that most people don't have tanks like that, so you need to put in the but. So that's all fine. It then went on some kind of live stream rant, apparently, about how everyone was gunning for him and all the YouTube drama, and oh, we don't want drama. But you do want drama. That's kind of the YouTube nirvana again, is to garnish as much drama as possible to drive up views. But yeah, people like Lucas, LRB were involved. King of DIY came on the chat. Apparently there was some big dust up with the LRB and Ohio Fish Rescue, and then they started having a go, and Joey got in, and I was sitting back going, I'm a proper amateur at this YouTube drama stuff. I just said the King of DIY was a twat once, years ago, and it's following me around now. That nobody actually got into a fight about it. So this was all very interesting. But yeah, I got a bit carried away watching some of those videos this afternoon and thought, ooh, that was a spicy meatball. We can talk about that this evening. But I just wanted to say that my main point on this was, I have nothing against these nature aquariums. I actually quite like it as an idea. Some of the people that were talking about it were very scathing about the and you could tell they were talking about the father fishes, or the LRB, where they're saying, oh, who wants to have tanks that you can't see into, you can't see through, blah 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 blah. And that bit of it is very much an each to your own type of thing. If your main goal is to breed fish, seeing into the fish tank isn't really that high up in the priority. If the fish tank and is covered in algae, and that algae is providing a beneficial landscape for those fish to flourish, then yeah, you're not going to touch that. You're going to leave them to it and collect all the babies and then the dollars. I've kind of lost my train of thought of where I was going with that, but the nature aquarium stuff I actually quite like, and I probably will at some point have some nature aquariums. The thing that I don't like, and some of the things that he does promote, and again, if he ever sees this, I don't mean these as personal attacks, but I'm sure you've had harsher things said about you. I 100% do not agree with the whole, go and find some mud and throw it in your fish tank, or go and dip a bottle into a pond and then bring that in, and that'll seed your tank to provide life. And you're like, It might, but I can't think of many things riskier to do than to go out and dip a jar into some pond, lake, bring it home, chuck it in my fish tank and go, that'll do good. I can't see that ending in anything but disaster. But yeah, so there are things that I don't agree with, there's things that I do agree with, and there's things that I just don't care about. I think the main point I wanted to make was that YouTube's big enough for everyone. You don't have to agree with everyone to exist. So it's that more nuanced thing of, you have ideas I don't like, and I feel anyone should be able to criticise anyone for things like that. But it's the preachy stuff of, if you're not doing these things, you're doing it wrong. And I really, really don't agree with that. And I thought that might be an interesting topic for discussion for the evening. So anyway, I've rambled on for 15 minutes. There's probably nobody even here yet to talk about these things. I shall go back to the chat while I enjoy my now flat beer. This is proving to be disappointing already. Definitely smells of honeycomb now. Mark says hello, as does Dangerous Dan. Simon's in. Hans is in from Sweden. Fishbait's in from the start. Callum, hello. How you doing? Oh, I'm miles behind again. This is what happens when I go off on a rant. That was not a rant, let's be clear. But I always get miles behind in the chat, so I'll try and skip through again. Wondering how Graham's back is. It looked like Mrs. Adventurer did all the digging. You're not wrong. I should really have checked that the vid and the sound was good before I started talking. David, hello from Merseyside. Ginty. I watched all your Megatank videos today. Oh, I'm sorry for the obvious depression you'll now be in after watching all that. We're all here to learn how to use a microphone, according to the first of the week's videos. All right. I got myself a new microphone, which I'm now going to crash the Stream Deck and everything else with while I try and fish it out. So here's a little glimpse behind the curtain. I use these, as you might have seen. This is the Rode Video Micro Pro or 2. I don't know what it is. That. But I've recently, plagues of the bearded man. Normally I would put this here because it's got a microphone on it. If you can see there, get my face out of the way. That little silver bit in the middle is actually the microphone. So I would normally clip it onto my t-shirt, but then as the beard started getting longer, it was getting this. So I couldn't have that, so I had to get a wee lav mic. So I bought the lavalier mic before I realised I could just clip it somewhere else. But that's another story of my stupidity. And it was this one, the very well reviewed Boya lavalier mic, which is almost the same as the Rhodes lavalier mic that I had before this, and then stood on and broke. But this has this little bit where it's got an on and an off switch. What a stupid idea to have on a microphone. And I keep this bit in my pocket while I'm talking because I only use obviously the lav bit clips on somewhere. And as I was putting that in my pocket, I turned it off. So I recorded a whole video with no sound, like a moron. But hey, nobody seemed to mind, and it performed quite well. So I'll take that. Tangent. That was a bit of a tangent for you. Sorry. Fishpan Link says hello. Hello, Fishpan Link. Spandog 6K Aquatics. Good evening. And as Scott says, don't forget to hit that like button on the way in while you're talking. We need to get Lady Adventures to shake up the beers one of these times. No, we don't need any of that nonsense. This is my one day of the week that I get to consume some beers. It's like a reward. Fatherfish is strange for sure. I mean, everyone's a bit strange, surely. Robert Kerr, Dad, hello from Turkey. Having many beers. Well, enjoy. Fewer fish. Right, we don't need any of that negativity around here. What is the spanner by people's names? That is denoting they are a moderator. So if you get potty mouthed, they will probably not do anything. Wouldn't he need to hurry up building his channel? He's 82. Well, he's doing pretty well at the moment. As I recall, 35 subs per video average and 50,000 to make a buck. Right, this is not an attack on Father Fish. Not even had one beer. It's not an attack on Father Fish. It's a commentary on some of the things he's pushing. So whether or not we like the way he pushes these things, or this isn't an attack on, oh, you shouldn't be allowed to say these things on YouTube. You absolutely should. And I absolutely should be able to say, I agree with those points, but not that one. Or anyone should be able to say that. The YouTube grind is a thing, and if we all start looking towards other channels, so comparison against other channels is just, it's a black hole that gets you nowhere. We could look at Father Fish and you would see some of, so I think recently he's got like a couple of 100,000 views on the recent videos, because this furor has launched him a little bit. Most of the other videos, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, are unwatchable for me. I've tried to watch some of his videos, and again, I mean it in the nicest possible way, I find myself going, just get to the point. What are you trying to say? Oh, it's that again. And I'm sure people watch my videos and go, what are you talking about, you moron, you big massive fat twat, that's nonsense. That's fine too. So this is a place for morons to spout their nonsense, and I'm in that camp. So it's not for me, it's not for a lot of people. He's obviously found his niche. I would really love to see the analytics on his recent Doing Well videos, because I tried to watch them, and like I say, I found them almost unwatchable, in that I watched 30 seconds and went, oh, I can't be bothered with this. So I wonder if many other people are the same. So if you watch, if you go back to the small, what have I done to my Stream Deck? I've completely knackered it. Sorry while I fiddle with this, just bear with me, callers. There we go. Well, let's pick another one. If you look at one of my videos, for instance, the one that I can't speak in, and we look at the analytics for it, you get various options here, and the engagement one is always a good, is it the engagement one that I want to look at? That's this one here, your retention. So you can't see that because I made it too small, bear with me. That didn't help in any way whatsoever because I'm an idiot. There, that graph there, that's people watching. So this is fairly typical. So if you can see, the pink line is for that particular video, but the grey line is for most of my videos. So that's the grey is kind of the average, and so this is fairly typical. What that means is people click on the video, a load of people in the first 5 seconds go, oh, I didn't mean to click on this video, and bugger off. And then it's flattish, so you're looking for any peaks or troughs here, any troughs here. So for instance, if I was to at that point say, oh, I'd really love it if you subscribed, I'd see a dip. Or here's a link to a thing on Amazon you can buy, there'd be a dip. So you can kind of plan your content that way. I suspect and I don't mean it to be mean, that Father Fishy's videos go whoom, crashing down at that first 30 seconds to a much lower percentage than that, for instance, purely because of the way he does it. So his style is, it's like a 5-second opener of the topic of the video, and then you're like, well, you've given me all the information I came to this video for in 5 seconds, so why should I watch the rest of the ramble? So again, it just would be interesting because I like stats and messing about with stats, basically. David says, I have a trickle HMA water change going into my 2 tanks constantly. I stole the idea from Aquarium Adventures after watching your videos. Oh, thank you. It's not my idea. I'm sure I stole it from someone else. I know there's a Discord some creators use to share content ideas, and it makes the waves. It's really annoying when a silly topic drags on when it's really simple. Do some research and don't be a fool. Indeed. Question. So, as you might have seen there, Brian has put hashtag question. You don't have to put the hashtag, you can just put question. Anytime you mention question in your question, it highlights the question for me to see. Question scenario: heavily planted tank, low stock, no water change, all good for a while, then water change, all goes screw with. What you do? Oh, that's a very good point actually, is if you don't do regular water changes, old tank syndrome as some people call it, or the 2 terms that get confused often, water will settle at a set of parameters over time, and then when something does go wrong and you have to change it and you're introducing something that's completely different, that will often cause more problems than it's worth. So for instance, if you have a tank that's been aged for 6 months and never had a water change and only had tiny top-ups, its pH might have settled at a very different level than what you've got to do water changes. Its hardness would be very different. It might have a nutrient bloom by you introducing all this fresh water as one. So not that any of them are necessarily reasons not to do that thing, but they're some of the many reasons that a lot of these people don't cover conveniently. And that's not to say that there aren't negatives for having tanks like these. Everything is a balance. Everything has pros and cons. To be fair, he does look a bit like a priest. Fatherfish talking slowly is almost as bad as Dr. Novak 45 minutes for what could be said in 5. Exactly. That, I think it's a style thing. Some people like it, some people don't. Should I take it from this that it's an old man stuck in his ways who doesn't like young'uns telling him he's wrong? The thing is, he's not wrong. He's just very stuck in his ways, would be a very good way to describe it, and convinced his way is the way. So it's like the Mandalorian or something. This is the way. Anyone that's not doing it this way is wrong. And it is quite preachy, which again rubs me up the wrong way, and I'm sure it rubs many people up the wrong way. But, and no offence to my American friends, a lot of the God botherers in the US seem to love that kind of shtick. We don't have mega churches here in the UK or Europe because we wouldn't be able to fill them. You don't have people that go along with things that easily. If you typically, and again, this is being very generalistic and probably alienating loads of people, but you will find an audience for that kind of stuff over there, whereas you just don't get that over here. But again, he's not wrong. He's just very limited in his scope, I would say. And again, none of this, don't compare people to other people, because you get down that track of going, it becomes jealousy, or there's no way to explain it other than as jealousy. So there's space for everyone. Let everyone do their thing. That's fine. But, God, it's hard to watch sometimes. And that's not just because of how slowly he speaks or how labour-intensive his points are. But until very recently, it was almost unwatchable in terms of like camera or audio quality. Says the man who can't even turn on his bloody microphone. But yeah, it was hard. But my God, it works. So anybody out there who's got a fairly decent sized channel, doesn't mind me calling them names for a while, I don't mind if you call me names back. We could have like a YouTube beef, get some stuff started. Might be good for both of us. Stop using water in your aquariums. With grumpy face on my thumbnail. I think that goes something like that. I use Iron Brew for my water changes. There you see Aqua, we can start some drama if you want. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Right, I'm obviously still miles behind. Let's do some catching up. Caveman was blunt on it, plus he also shifted loads of C-Chem. Can't say that word. C-Chem matrix off the back of it. Yeah, I did see that video, but I'm not. This is how bad I am. I wasn't even aware of Caveman Aquatics being a thing. So that might be the only fish tank I've ever seen of his aquarium video. I know MD is a bit lax with his water changes, but he does them and acknowledges the need for them. Yeah, I didn't know that he was a bit lax from them, but he has done no water change ones. And again, that is a channel that I do watch. And that's the difference. He isn't presenting that as, this is how you should do aquariums. So he's presenting that as this is a way to do an aquarium. This is a new cool thing. And they're cool. It's great. Nothing against it. Do you not like the king of DIY? No, we got on great now. Right, let's see if we can get down. I like that. My pond is a nature pond. It gets water changes from the sky. That's the ultimate automatic water change system. It wasn't a rant, it was an emotionally motivated monologue used to express strong and occasionally controversial opinions. Great. Indeed. Right, I'm going to try and get... It's... What? It's Ginty with a Jer? What? Ger? Ginty? That's no clearer. In fact, it's less clear. I'm just going to call you G. Is that alright? Say no more. You have to say father fish in an Irish... I can't do accents. We all know I can't do accents. When our friends from Texas come and join in the stream. Father fish. Oh, sorry. Well, that is a good idea. So Cora Work says, I can watch Father Fish at 2 times speed, I suppose. Indeed. So that is a valid and useful positive suggestion. Big massive fat. Right, let me see if I'm sorry if I'm missing any messages. Again, stick in question if it's a question or something you want me to read properly. There you go. Question: if you were to get into breeding fish as an average, what would be the best dimensions for breeding tanks? Looking to breed a pair of black rams I recently picked up and leopard frog plicos. In my opinion, 18-inch cubes are great breeding tanks for most things. And then my second favourite size after that is 2 foot. So 2 foot by a foot, 18 inches, something like that. Pardon me. I had my most success when I bred discus on 18-inch cubes. But some other fish, if I'm breeding as part of a community, something that little bit longer. And for the smaller fish like epistogrammas, things like that, if you have like multiple pairs in there, rams, that gives enough space for 2 to pair off and the rest to avoid death while they have their spawning behaviour. Right. Plywood tanks are trash. My channel isn't huge, but I went for a few rounds. Yeah, that I think we'll go for quantity. Don't have to have many subscribers, but I'll just Graham fights 15 channels. Question mentioned about blending, but can you take your next can of brew, add the same volume, give it a try? It's common to do during the tastings to try to make blends once you've tried them. What? Let me read that again. Can you take your next can of brew, add the same volume, give it a try? So, for instance, do you mean if I've got that left, add that much again of the next can? I don't know what that means. Oh, I am now down at the bottom. Correct. Okay. Well, that one was just meh. It was alright. Bit disappointing. We'll move on to the Songbird IPA from North Brewing Company. Smells more promising. So, mix the same again. All I can smell is honey now. Nah. I feel that has soured what I was hoping would be a very nice beer with the one that was just meh. Not an enjoyable experience. So I'm going to down that so as I can get on to the next one. You're going to have to invite me to like one of these proper craft beer shows or something so we can do all this properly. I'll find one in Sheffield and I'll live stream from it. I'll have it in like earphones. You can tell me what to do. Earphones? How will that work? What was the name someone called you a couple of weeks ago? Was it Gordon? Yes, it was. That's why we named the giant snakehead Gordon. Charity Aquarium YouTubers boxing matches. Yeah, that'd be fun. Only because I think I'm bigger than most of them, but, you know, if I don't get a first round knockout, I'll be in trouble. I don't think I've got the stamina or the cardio. Right, I'm going to pour the rest of this one. So again, this is quite a pale one, but has a little bit of haze and quite a creamy head. That's what we want in a beer, the ability not to see through it. Slightly hoppy, but I've learned that hoppy isn't a bad thing anymore. What does it say? What does it say? Rich, smooth, flavours of sweet, juicy blueberry alongside sharp, fresh cut pineapple. I was thinking some kind of fruit, but I would never have guessed blueberry and pineapple. Does blueberry even have a taste? It really just tastes of blue. I don't think it's a good idea to mix those beers. Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I've got the whole can left. We'll be fine. Mix everything and then jump up and down. Whoa! No. You won't be doing much digging in the pond this weekend if the rain keeps up. Well, pond news. Right, we'll move on to pond news. I think I shared this picture, if I can show you this, from my Discord server up here. That is my good lady wife having dug, I reckon, at least 1.5 tons or 2 tons of sand, and then a couple of tons of hardcore, and that's us at the point where we broke ground into actual mud. So again, this will only make sense to people who have seen all of my videos. This is my front garden, which is actually a golf hole. The people who lived here before us were into golf in a big way. So this is a big green. This was the bunker. We've dug out the bunker and we're going to make it a pond. This is 100% Mrs. Adventurer's project. I am purely labour on this one. Pardon me. She wants a nature pond. I think her fear is that if I take over, it'll become some massive koi pond project, and she's just not into that. She wants a nice area for aquatic plants, some wildlife to come in. She's open to having some fish, but yeah, this is her. She's in charge of the garden. That's her domain, and that's fine. So we've done all this, and the soil is so thick and clay heavy, we're having real problems. So we're going to get a mini digger in, I think, and dig that out a little bit. In fact, if I go back to that picture, we're essentially going to dig so there'll be a shelf. What we dig out there, we'll put round the outside, and that will be the planting area. So there'll be 2 planting areas at the top and the bottom, and then take the spoil from here to build these up a bit so as it gets up to the level there. And then have this as like a shallow end to a big deep drop off here, so somewhere for the fish to hide. Hopefully. But mostly a wildlife pond with planting and all that kind of stuff. So we've been looking for a mini digger because I did like a day's worth of digging, and even then it was maybe an hour's worth. And I was like, oh. So we'll get the digger in again and dig it out properly with a little bit of ease. Nick it and move on. That's my strategy. One afternoon in the brewery, they'll get you on the right track. Most tastings are brewery only, off kegs versus cans. Well, they do a thing, and I've always poo-pooed it. They have like a craft beer festival in Sheffield every year, and I used to get invited to it, and I was always like, craft beer, bleh. I'd rather, as Fishpet said, I'd rather poop in my hands and clap. So this was before my craft beer days, obviously. But it's something like you pay a tenner at the door, they give you a glass, and that's it. You get to go around all the different breweries and vendors and stuff like that. And people from work used to go and regale us with tales of basically getting plastered up for a tenner. But I'd quite like to do something like that just to try different things, because I think this has been quite the experience for me. I'm quite proud of myself that I've got to the point where I almost know what I like and can tell what's going on. I mean, I still get surprised by the odd, like last week's West Coast IPAs. They're getting written off forever. That was minging. But I feel like there's still some refinement to go. I'm a little bit worried that all the ones that I've liked so far are the higher end of the alcohol spectrum. If that's just my Scottish genes going through, I'm not sure what's going on there. But they are the tastes that I like, so I'm trying to find those tastes. Because sometimes I can't describe why I like a thing. Like there, pineapple and blueberry means nothing to me. I just go, yeah, it's quite nice. So now that I know that's pineapple and blueberry, I will make the mistake of looking out for things with pineapple in them. And if you remember, I had that pineapple and grapefruit one and nearly threw up. So I need to refine my palate a little bit so I can figure out which ones I like and which I don't like. But yeah, that one's passable. We should have a big night out. We should have a big night out. Yes. Why not? Everyone, up to Sheffield. Well, I'll take you all out. No, that's not true. I'll come out with you. I will not take you all out. Question. Where's it gone? Sorry, lost it. Should I try not doing water changes or filter cleans on my Plicklet tanks? You absolutely should not. That is one of the many situations where it's not advisable not to do water changes. Gentle reminder that Beartown Brewery in Congleton is amazing and not that far from you. Gently reminded. Can't they just say it tastes... See, that's where I was beforehand. I had fresh, clean lagers, and then everything else was, ooh, stinky, chewy beer. But now I'm starting to see a few different things in there. Jake Paul's drawing up the contract as we speak. My money's on you, Gordon. Well, I wouldn't be adverse to it, but, you know, I'm now that fat old man that used to be a fighter, that still thinks he is a fighter. Things that probably not end well for me. I think Father Fish would deck me within a minute. As I say, I used to be a really good golfer, and it pains me when I play golf now. You know that way when you used to be good at something and then you don't do it for ages and then you try it again and go, God, I used to be able to do this. What's gone wrong? My first build was a plywood bottom and glass sides 360 gallon tank. I'm a bit of a woodworker, so my next tanks were framed. Excellent. A plywood bottom and glass sides. What, no glass on the bottom at all, just plywood bottom. That makes sense, I suppose. Imagine the transition. Golfist home to goldfish home. Yeah. I do like the idea. I'm just obsessed. I want a pond everywhere. I want there's another area of the garden which I don't know if I have pictures of. But basically the tee for that hole. So if this bit up here, no, I'll show you. If this bit up here is the green, so we've got several holes on the green where you can put flag sticks and stuff. You tee off from behind where I'm taking this picture. And every time I stand there, I look at it and go, that's the perfect place for a proper koi pond. You know, like dig down 3 feet, have 3 feet above ground, big glass window, canopy, filter house. I fear I will never convince Mrs. Adventurer that would be a good idea. Be sure to add a wetland filter. My pond uses it. It's crystal clear, always pristine. It's just a little pond on the side with gravel and pipes under it from the skimmer. You won't regret it. Again, this isn't my thing, so we have talked about filters, and I wanted to run power out there and have pumps and have I was thinking a bog filter. I guess, is that the same as a wetland filter? I'm not sure. But she wants it just to be solar powered, so very low energy pumps, maybe just moving water around rather than actual filters. It's yet to be decided or argued about. I do read the messages on Discord, yes. See you in a bit, Brian. Craft brew events are fun. Make sure you have a drive. I'm sure that's not a good idea to drive to them. Some will allow kids food trucks and all that too. Just check the rules before. Do not go without a ride home. Oh, a driver. Yes, quite right. Scottish guy drinks beer. Shocked face. The absolute best pond filter is 6 inches of sludge in the bottom. I think that's what we're going for. Yeah. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm refining my palate. Have you been listening to my wife? Other YouTubers out there, am I doing something wrong? Because I've been what is this? Stream 110, and I cannot control the chat. Every time I go anywhere near it, it just shoots off the page and whizzes through. Am I doing something wrong? See, it's comments like this, Nabokov. I think you overestimate my capabilities here. Wheat ales taste like wheat. All right, yeah, okay. Thanks, Sherlock. Some lagers taste like malt. Some have biscuit flavour. Some touts are coffee. Some oatmeal. Some milk, lactose. So, I saw this in Discord earlier where you were talking about lactose. In no universe should milk or lactose be going anywhere near alcohol. That's just a recipe for disaster. That's just got spewing up curds written all over it, and I don't want any part of it. Sometimes I feel I was happier when I just had nice beer, horrible beer. Now I've almost been put off what I used to call nice beer, which was lager, in favour of the 50-50 knife edge balance of delicious craft ale or putrid puddle of muck. And I feel like I can't leave this journey here. I can't go back to the lagers because they're just not doing it for me now. But I can't live with the nerves of, it's going to cost me £4 a can, and it'll either make me throw up or I'll love it. I can't deal with that stress in my life. I need to get all the way through so as I know what I like and what I don't like. Silver Creek's in the house. Super late, but in time for the quiz. 8 minutes to go to the quiz. Right, be ready, everyone. I'm going to try and share the quiz. Remember, there will be prizes. And remember, don't share the... Last week I shared the wrong link and basically everybody screwed up the quiz. So this is the right link, I hope. If you want to play the quiz, we will kick it off in 7 minutes. Use that link I've just posted in the chat to join. As always, it's a mix of fishy questions, current affairs questions, random things I found on the internet questions, and not always... I mean, facts aren't the most important thing with questions. It's you have to, with some questions, lean into the fact that it's my interpretation of the facts. Missy's not very adventurous. Well, she has a very specific idea of what she wants to get out of the pond, and I'm fine with it. Any water feature in the garden, I'm all for it. Bog filter is a wetland filter, yes. So, sorry, if you're listening to this in podcast form, you have no idea what I'm laughing at now. Aquarium Delirium has just said, it was just your luck if you went to the beer festival and that guy with the kids would be there from the auction. And the only reason I'm laughing is I went to the supermarket a couple of weeks back, and do you know that way when you're going up and down the aisles? I don't know if you do know that thing. I'm the person that does the messages or the shopping in our family. So you might not know this, but every now and again you get into sync with people where you either keep crossing over as you're going up and down the aisles because they're going in sort of the same direction but they're one aisle out with you, or they're going backwards, or sometimes somebody's just in front of you. And I was going up and down the aisles and I could see all the people that were coming back, and I could hear it. I could hear the kids smashing things, running up and down, and every 30 seconds or something a male voice going, "Stop that! Put that back! Jaden, pack it in! Trixie Bell!" And then the people So I was obviously going in the same direction as him. So he was on this aisle, I was going up, he was going down the next, and as we crossed over, we never saw each other. And everybody I saw coming in the opposite direction was like, oh, it's that guy. Why don't people control their kids? And they'd be murmuring at me as I go past and stuff like that. And I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And we got to the end to where the bread is to come back around again. And it was him. It was that guy. And I was like, oh. Because I'm always petrified he's watched my videos now because he's heard me say, oh, this bloody annoying guy keeps coming and turning up at the fish shop. So he's a guy who turns up at the fish auctions that I go to and annoys the bejesus out of me and really just does my nut in, basically, because he doesn't control his kids. They run about, they cause riots, blah, 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 all that stuff. And yeah, I saw him at the supermarket. And that's my story. That's why that made me laugh. Read faster, is that how you control the chat? Maybe that's what it is. That's how they make cream ales, actual lactose to make them. That doesn't mean it's good. Vanilla milk stouts are pretty common. Yeah, and disgusting. I'm not even going into that whole side of things. I want no part of it. You only have to have the urge to try something. I have tried them. They were minging. I'm not doing it again. Ugh. Vanilla porters, milk. No. What is wrong with you people? Ugh. Do you like fishing? I do like fishing, yes. Creme de menthe milkshake. You too can produce a green minty cottage cheese a mere 30 minutes later. That is my worry, yes. The first one is Egypt. Oh, how do you know? Have we broken it again? I hope not. Right, I'm going to scroll all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. There you go. Dr. Awesome's in the house, just in time for the quiz. I got your email. Did you get my email? I might be appearing on Dr. Awesome's live stream one day. Right, copy link, paste link. Let's get you in, people. There could be a massive prize to be won here. Is it working? I'm pasting the... I don't see my link. There it is. Your food arrived today. Sticky tropical tablets and spirulina tabs were a winner with the African dwarf frogs and the word I can't read, Parotinculus. The soft artemia were smashed by everything. Soft artemia is... it's like god tier of foods. One day, this next week. Yeah, I think so. We could probably do that. Alright, we've got 8 players. We need to get more than 8 players. As you can see, we're up to 10. 1 minute to go before we kick this off. Delicious. Next in the lineup, we've got a choice. Another salt crossover. I do quite like the salt beer. So this is a hazy IPA, which sounds like it's all the good things that I like. A salt brewery beer, I also like. NFTs, which I don't like. Or another salt, the hop Citra. So there's your options. I think I'm going to try this one next because it's got a fancy can. I suppose you could always be really controversial and have a Bud Light next week. Why not? Simon, you're quite right. Fewer players, higher chance of winning. Right. Let me organise myself a little bit. So, you think I should do the salt one hop? So I can definitively say I like Citra hops or not. I think I do, because on my spreadsheet it says I do. Right, are we ready? Are we ready? In fact, let me do this first. I'm not meaning to drag this out, but I record this for my second channel. If the first thing people see is me opening a beer while I'm asking questions, it'll make me look like an alcoholic, and we don't need that. In case you didn't know, I do have a second channel where if you can't be bothered to sit through 2 hours of this nonsense, just the rants, the quiz, the questions all get uploaded as clips. This is... Oops. Got a smell. A smell that would have put me off some months ago. I can get on board with that. That's pretty nice. So, we're ready to do the quiz. Well, no, I'll do this all together. No, that's not the right button. Welcome everyone to the Friday night quiz, the Aquarium Adventures quiz, where we have a whole host of fishy questions, general knowledge, trivia and current events. As always, the quicker you answer a question, the more points you get, assuming you get it right. And all the answers you think, do I think it's right or is it actually right? Because there's a bit of leeway there. But let's get right into it. Let's go into the little face. If we're ready to go, we have 15 players, all ready to go. 3, 2, 1, go! Which country has the most pyramids? Is it Sudan, Egypt, Egypt, Mexico or Bolivia? We don't need any negative comments like that, Simon. Thank you very much. It is Sudan, not Egypt. Which of these animals has the strongest bite force? Is it the saltwater crocodile, the great white shark, the hippopotamus, or the grizzly bear? You're only getting 20 seconds to answer these questions this week, as opposed to the normal 30 seconds. We're going to move it along quickly, quick style. It is the great white shark, according to Wikipedia. Which genus of fish includes the popular aquarium fish known as neon tetras? Is it Tetradon, Pterophilium, Parichiriodon, or Characidae? The one that I can't say from previous weeks. Characidae, Characidae. Which one is it? Genus. That's important. It is that one. C. What dance is this? You might need to see a bit larger. Pardon me, does that help? Tango, waltz, foxtrot, or cha-cha? This is my early entry for Strictly Come Dancing. It is, of course, the foxtrot. Nestler reagent, K2HG. That is used in what capacity in the aquarium hobby? Is it A, testing for nitrates, dechlorinating water, stabilising pH, or testing for ammonia? What is it used for in the aquarium hobby? It's for testing ammonia. What country is this? Denmark, Italy, Greece, or United Kingdom? Dr. Awesome's in the lead. 3 ahead of Mark at the moment. Fat Kids with Seesaw and Juggler and Shadow all close behind. Remember, this can all change quickly. What country is this? Italy, obviously. What is another name for a type of discus fish? Is it Symphosodon aquifasciatus, Pterophilum scalari, Beta splendens, or Danio rerio? I'm never sure how to say Symphosodon. Symphosodon? Easy. Aquifasciatus, I quite like as a word. And that is the answer. What animals have shown healthy social behaviour when video calling their owner in a recent study? Dogs, cats, parrots, hamsters. I want to know how these people are getting grants to study these things. It's parrots. The Northern Lights were visible in the UK this week, but what colour were they? Green, blue, red or purple? Northern Lights were visible in the UK this week, but what colour were they? Normally they're green, but this time they were purple. Which country has the largest population? India, China, Scotland or the USA? Quick check-in at the halfway point. Dr. Awesome on 95 points. Fat Kids Win at Seesaw on 80. Juggler on 68. Mark on 63. Cinema Reef on 58. India has the largest population. That just changed recently. Thankfully, James Corden has retired. How many late night show episodes did he host? 4,210, 977, 1,197 or 2,222? Do you know the answer? It's a bit of a guess, surely, for anyone. It was 1,197. Fat Kids Win at Seesaw has leaped into the lead by 1 point. Which Broadway show concluded the longest run in history this month? Cats, Hamilton, Phantom of the Opera, or We Will Rock You? There are fish questions in this as well. I mean, it's Phantom of the Opera. When measured using a sensible scale, 77 degrees Fahrenheit is 22, 23, 25 or 26 degrees Celsius. That's me just giving a bit of home field advantage to my Celsius rocking friends. It's 25 degrees. What did Netflix announce they will be ending in September this year? Password sharing, physical DVDs by mail, ad-supported membership, or its physical rental stores? This might be a controversial one, but tough. Physical DVDs by mail. What is the oldest species of fish still alive today? So not the oldest individual fish, which we've had before. Is it the coelacanth, which I believe is how you pronounce that, the sturgeon, the goldfish, or the bichir, or bashir, says one person? It's the coelacanth. 20% of calories consumed by humans worldwide is in what form? Bread, fish, rice, or beef? I did not know the answer to this one, so we can all learn something. Rice, 20%. Most toilet paper sold in France is what colour? Keeping it highbrow on Aquarium Adventures. Is it pink, blue, brown or green? Dr. Awesome storming into the lead so far. Fat Kids Win at Seesaw struggling to keep up. I think everyone else is playing for third place. Pink, blue, brown or green? It's pink. Who thought that? Which of these is biologically immortal? Is it the jellyfish, lobsters, squid or coral? I want to talk about this later because biologically immortal is a phrase I didn't think was a thing, but there you go. It is, of course, the jellyfish. According to a 1990 survey, scraping the barrel for fish questions now, what was the value of ornamental fish imported into the USA? Was it 7.5 million, 22 million, 30 million or 45 million? This is the second last question. You're going to have to get these both wrong, Dr. Awesome and Fat Kids. Get them both right to overtake, I think. And final question, how many squares are in this image? I should have given you more than 20 seconds for this one, but, Have to make it a guess. 29, 21, 25 or 20. What do you think? It was 20. So there we go. We have our winner. Dr. Awesome with 176 points. Fat Kids win at Seesaw on 162 in silver. Juggler bringing up the rear with 110. 1 point ahead of Mark with 109. And then we've got all these other scores that you can see. Billy Bum Willie is 75. That needs to be called out. Why not? A Fried Silver Brain on 44. And then Coral Works only gets 1. So it clearly didn't work for you. I apologise. Sometimes it's a bit... It just doesn't work properly, this thing. But congratulations. Well done. Dr. Awesome, you are our winner. If you have joined us on the second channel, let me know what your score was down below. Otherwise, check us out on the main channel. We'll see you next week. Bye. That's just the second channel, people. Don't anyone leave. Look at this. First time playing and I forgot to hit submit. Oh, I didn't even do all the questions and I still triumphantly won by quite a margin. Right, Dr. Awesome, you are our winner. What we generally do is you have... I'm not sending you a prize. Let's just get that out of the way straight away. You live far too far away and it would cost me far too much money to send you anything. So, if you can make use of an Aquarium co-op voucher or an Amazon voucher or some kind of electronic gift, let me know. If you want to transfer your gift to someone in the UK, I'll give them that. You could have a t-shirt or something like that. I could send you a t-shirt from Spreadshirt. That would be free. Well, not free, but cheap. So let me know. Send me an email. You've got my email address. Send me an email. Let me know your address, where to send your prize. If you'd like some kind of gift card over a physical gift, let me know. The only thing I can send you physically would be like a t-shirt or some kind of merch from the massive conglomerate that is Spreadshirt. Otherwise, if you want to nominate someone for a prize in the UK, we can do that as well. But well done, you. Right, now, let me see. Where do we need to catch up on? Biologically immortal. That's a phrase I came across today for the first time. Apparently, jellyfish are biologically immortal because they can revert to earlier stages of their own mortality. So a jellyfish can be 50 years old and go, do you know what? I fancy being a teenager again. And they can just go away and do it. I think that's amazing. I was hoping to catch some of you out there with thinking it would be lobsters, because people say that lobsters are immortal, but that's not true. They will eventually die. You can't ship them a monster fish overnight from the UK for free. What the... Yeah, I should have made that clear straight off, because I was expecting Scott to win like he does every other week. Sending things outside of the UK prohibitively expensive. So what I've done for some of our US winners in the past is give them like an Aquarium co-op voucher or something like that, or if you live in Australia, an Amazon voucher or something of those lines. But Spreadshirt sends worldwide, so if you want an Aquarium Adventures t-shirt, something like this, we can sort that out. So we now have the reason as to why CoralWorks only had 1 point. I've been guessing, but I didn't see the submit answer button until just now. Oh dear, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I chose lobster because it's a bottom feeder. I thought lots of people would have chosen lobster. I've learned lots about jellyfish being immortal from watching Octonauts with my daughter. Oh, that was a staple in our house as well. Right. Let me sort something out while we do that. Move that over there. This is riveting viewing for everyone while I sort out my admin. Okay, we've got about 50 odd people in the stream, but only 40 odd likes. I thought I was quite clear earlier that the price of admission is 1 like. It's all you have to do. Scott's had a terrible week at the last 2 questions. Well, last week was a bit of a disaster altogether. You skipped my previous comment. Did I? I read biologically immortal as biblical immortal. Biblically immortal. That's a very different thing. Made top 10. Oh, did I close it? This is my favourite part of this. Is where we get a button here called Insights. So we get to see who was right and who was wrong. I didn't want to do that. There you go. Oh, for God's sake, you stupid computer. What is it? Yeah, close enough. Which country has the most pyramids? Only 3 got that right. Did you all go for Egypt? Was that obvious? Haven't you learned by now? Which animal has the strongest bite force? Nabo did not get great white shark. Only Willy Bum Willy. Which genus of fish includes the popular aquarium fish? So, right, hang on. Dr. Awesome got that wrong. Dr. Awesome got that wrong. Dr. Awesome got that one right. Good. But still, only 4 people got that one right. What dance step is it? Dr. Awesome got that one. Nestler reagent is used in what capacity? Dr. Awesome got that one right. What country is that? Whoa, well done. I think that's the first time we've ever got everyone getting that right. And QC with the little crown on the head, you got that right quickest. Oh, I didn't realise that before. So Mark got the Nestler one quickest. Dr. Awesome got the dance step quickest. This is good, this. I love this. What is another name for a type of discus? Scott got that one quickest. I hope Dr. Awesome got that one right, because being a discus fan, yes, you did. Juggler wins on question 8. Northern Lights were visible in the UK. What colour were they? Only Juggler got that one right. Which country has the largest population? See, apparently that changed at the beginning of the month. It used to be China and moved back to India. James Gordon has retired. That was a bit of potluck, that one, really. What Broadway show concluded? Yeah. Oh, a few people got that one wrong. When measured using a sensible scale. I mean, the Fahrenheit scale is ridiculous. What did Netflix announce they'll be ending? So I thought that was a bit of a trick question. I thought I'd catch a few of you out with that one. But no, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got that one right. Because they have been a big hoo-ha about password sharing, and that is still a thing where they're going to stop doing that, but this is the physical DVDs. Who knew they were still sending out physical DVDs? Wow, 20% of calories consumed by humans worldwide in what form? Rice. Only Nabo got that one right. Congratulations, Nabo. Only 3 people get the toilet paper one right. Have you never been to France? I did think when I went to France, there's a preponderance of pink toilet paper around here. A good few people watch Octonauts and got the biologically or biblically immortal correct. Nobody got the 1990 survey one right. And only Fat Kids and Mark got the squares correct. But well done for everyone for trying. chat, where's it gone? How many of my answers were option C? C. Nabo got me on that one. I realised most times I put the correct answer on B, so I tried to avoid that this time. I do have an eye doctor appointment on May 12th, so I might crack the top 5 after that. Yeah, it's not perfect, is it? But we get there. To Sweden, they just send Oh My Balls t-shirts. Oh My Balls got banned off the Spreadshirt website. Can I show you this? I'm not a robot. I love how the old captures things get me. Please click here to denote that you are not a robot. Do they think robots don't know how to click here? So, yeah. So this is my Spreadshirt shop. Let me move myself out the way. Everything's been rejected. So my Aquarium Adventures has been rejected. My cock has been rejected. And my Oh My Balls has been rejected. They could not be higher quality. There's so many. Why? That's not. So at the moment, all you can get is This Sucks, This Blows, or the Aquarium Adventures logo on a myriad of things. But every now and again, they unreject them, so I can send them. So I think you might have the rarest piece of merch hands in the whole of the universe if you have an Oh My Ball shirt, because no one else can buy one. Mexico, what for the pyramids? So you chose crocodiles because the saltwater crocodiles slam their jaws shut with 3,700 pounds per square inch of pressure. That is indeed correct. But don't you know, great white sharks slam their jaws shut with 4,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. And that's the article I read. So, you know. The shark show I saw about crocs versus... Well, yeah. And again, that's why there's the disclaimer at the start to say it's the thing that I find and make the question from. I'll never be the quickest to answer. I'm a really slow reader. Sometimes you just have to make it up. Just guess. And while a 2008 computer model estimated that a 21-foot great white shark would produce nearly 4,000 psi of bite force, that figure hasn't been directly measured. Biblically immortal, not immortal. Biologically immortal. God, that's hard to say. Even before I had some beers earlier, I was telling my wife and family about it. Did you know that jellyfish are immortal? Idiocracy is a fantastic... It is a fantastic movie. That's one of my favourite... Not one of my favourite films. But, you know, it's the type of film that comes on at like 1 a.m. every now and again. You catch the second half of it. It's a great film. Too bad JCVD wasn't it? There's not enough things with JCVD in it. The one with your face on it was rejected. I think it was rejected. Well, there is a beard. It's just really hard to see. So I paid someone, oh God, I need to move myself out of the way. I paid someone 5 whole English pounds or British pounds to caricature myself. And that's what they came up with. But there's stubble. I mean, it's not this, but stubble. Idiocracy is Futurama in reverse. I've not heard a shark slam its jaw, luckily, but I have heard a salty slam its jaws shut, and the sound of death, it chills you to the bone. Yeah, well, have you heard like a crocodile, what's the word? It's not roar, it's like rumble or grumble. It is like, oh. And I'm not saying that crocodiles don't have an immense jaw power. I'm saying the article I read on YouTube an hour before the quiz said great whites were £4,000, saltwater crocodiles were 3,700. Good night, Nabokov. Thank you for joining us. Mark Arrowsmith is Father Fish immortal. Well, he is 80 odd. And props to the guy. I don't know anyone anywhere near that age that even knows what YouTube is. Never mind knows how to upload videos to it. So, well done him. Jaws 3D is a cinematic masterpiece and nobody can change my mind. I'll have a go. Jaws 3D is one of those films where... Right, let's put it up against Avatar. So, the whole point of the film was to demonstrate some technology. And it was to shoot it in 3D. So all the film, all the whole storyboard, and this is, they've talked about this, they've made documentaries about this. Everything was designed to show off the 3D technology. And it's kind of hard to pull that off, isn't it? It's, if you're, what's the plot here? It doesn't matter, we want to see the shark coming out of the water. Yeah, but in what way? It doesn't matter, get the shark coming out of the water. Whereas your likes of Avatar and stuff, that was a much more sympathetically shot film, where obviously it relied on a lot of CGI and stuff like that, but the 3D-ness of it, even though that was the main feature of the film, wasn't the main feature of the film, if that makes sense. Jaws, the first one, was suspense. It was what's out there. It was more of the suspense. Yeah, there's no other way of saying it. Jaws 2 is a little bit just more, we'll have a sequel, so we'll have more of the thing that we introduced at the end of the first one. Jaws 3 was just like, we'll blow it up. Boom, boom. It's a bit like, And I don't know if it was a little bit like too... I can't decide if it was too ahead of its time or too behind its time. Because it was like too ahead of its time because it was trying to push boundaries that the technology hasn't quite caught up with. It was too behind its time because it was trying to catch up with the technology that was too new. Yeah, it ruined it all for me. Sharknado is greater than Jaws 3D. Stubbing your toe is greater than Avatar. So Sharknado, I will admit, is great on every level. I didn't mind Avatar. So the one thing I'll say about Avatar is I've still never felt the need to watch the second one. which is a kind of damning indictment on a franchise. If you can't be bothered to go and watch the second one of something, maybe the first one wasn't that good after all. I kind of think of it as, so I'm going to use terrible examples now, but yeah, Rambo, watch Rambo. I've never missed a Rambo film, and some of them have been terrible, but I've always wanted to watch them. I didn't watch Terminator 1 and then not want to watch Terminator 2. I didn't, so you see where I'm going with that. So Avatar, I was like, yeah, wow, that was amazing, yeah. Avatar 2. So even though it was shot more sympathetically than Jaws 3D to promote the 3Dness, all I think about is it was a 3D film. It's going to be another 3D film with big tall blue wheel. It just doesn't do anything for you. That was delicious. What one was that? Citra. It was just bitey enough. At the end of Jaws 3D, when they blew up the shark, the jaw they show coming out was a human jaw. Oh, I did not know that. You mean like Avatar 2 Learn to Swim? What is it even called? Avatar 2 The Way of Water? Something like that? Just everything I've seen of it, I've been like, nah, can't be bothered with that. Jaws just got lucky it was filmed before the Baby Shark song. There you go. Jaws 4 with Michael Caine. I knew one of them was Michael Caine. I was just trying to think, was that the one that they did? I couldn't remember if it was Michael Caine in Jaws 3D or not. And to be clear, I thought that one was terrible as well. So now we have moved on to NFT number 2. Another salt beer. Oh, it must be because it's shiny. It's hard to see. Hazy IPA. When salt do hazy, I tend to like it. That is indeed hazy. I cannot see through it. That's what we like. Jaws 4 is like watching Father Fish. It takes forever. Avatar was half an hour of boredom followed by a 2.5 hour nap. Yeah, I managed to stay awake for Avatar, I must admit, but my oldest kid's about to turn 15. So 15 years ago was the last time I went to the cinema without falling asleep. Give or take. There might be one or two exceptions. But cinemas, once you have kids, dark, warm. Doesn't matter that it's 5 million decibels. Dark, warm, nobody bugging you. That's all you need. Avatar felt like a waste of time even the first watch though. I didn't mind it because it was exciting. It was really visually spectacular. But I've never watched it again and I don't want to watch the second one. So what does that tell you? Question. There we go. They have remade so many 70s and 80s films. Mechanic Charles Bronson to Jason Statham, Red Dawn, Patrick Swayze to Thor. Why no Jaws remake? It's a good question. I think is it maybe it's because it's too iconic to remake it. Imagine you're a film director and you come along and say, we want you to make Jaws. All right, like Jaws 6. No. Remake Jaws. You do it really well, you're accused of slagging off or undermining the initial thing. You do it really bad, you're accused of not doing it justice. I don't see a way to win remaking Jaws. It was almost the perfect movie. And I've seen that in a lot of 70s, 80s, 90s films that have been remade where they've made perfectly good films that if they weren't a remake of something, you wouldn't have noticed. Nah, I'm immediately going to not be able to think of an example. I should really write these down. When I think of these things, I should write them down. I was watching one the other day. What was it? But you feel like this is fine as a film, but because it's something that you remember, you have a fondness for the thing you remember, and then you get upset with the new thing because it doesn't meet that grade. And then you go back and watch the thing that you remember and go, God, that was terrible. And the new one was actually much, much better on every level, but it's just the nostalgia factor. It doesn't translate, and you don't get it as good. I saw Avatar once. I haven't watched it since and didn't watch the second one. Me and you both, Tim. We're in the same boat here. Where do you buy these beers? That's a good question. I can't remember where I got these ones. These have been sitting in the fridge for almost a week. Can't remember. One of the supermarkets. I like to spread myself around with the supermarkets to see who's got what. Possibly Asda, Morrison's, Sainsbury's. Not Morrison's. Titanic, 3 hours of movie. Titanic, 3 hours of movie about a ship sinking. Everyone already knew the ending, but went out to watch it in their millions. Yeah, that's true. Jaws 4: The Revenge. Worst film. It's not the worst film ever, but I get where you're coming with this. Who knew sharks could roar like lions? Didn't they do that in Jaws 3D as well, where I think it was something like a Chevy V8 engine they used as the voice of the shark. Like, why is a car revving attacking people from the sea? But maybe it was Jaws 4 and I've misremembered that. I don't know. Jaws 3D is like the ultimate sunken cost, because by that point, can you quit early? I guess not, yeah. I've never watched Titanic. A girl I knew was once shocked when I told her that and said it's really sad they all die at the end. Don't all die at the end. Just that bitch Rose that wouldn't let Jack up on the door. Ugh. Which Jaws was it when he growled? I thought it was 3, but it might have been 4. I could have got that wrong. I shall start a home brewery, so Graham never gets to the end of the list. My first attempt, NFA. No, we don't want no alcohol. It's what gives it the taste. The reboot of MacGyver. I did not know there was a reboot of MacGyver. I never really got into MacGyver. I don't know. They need to redo The Shining. I wasn't impressed with the original. See, that's another thing. That's getting it wrong from the book to the film. Although I did quite like The Shining. Maybe I just like Jack Nicholson. That's probably it. Have I watched Doctor Sleep? I don't think I have. I've never seen The Shining. Have you read The Shining though? How is the human performing? Right, we've got 20 minutes to go, so we're going to have to get a few. Let's keep it vaguely fishy. Although films, I'm big into films as well. Any good TV series that we could be watching? Although I do like films, over the past few years, I think I've got more into TV series than anything else. The thing that annoys me about TV series is they never end. Especially ones that you've not seen before. When they get into like season 8, you're like, oh god, I'm going to have to watch 400 hours of this before I get anywhere near what's going on. But I do quite like TV series. I've just seen something that Hawaii Five-0. I loved that. That was one of my TV go-tos. The new one, not the old one. Never watched the old one, so maybe that's where it goes wrong. But the new one, the overacting in it, oh yeah, loved that. Another one, Suits. Have you ever seen Suits? I know it's quite old now, but that was like a guilty pleasure of mine, where it was just so overacted. I loved it. Improvement to Titanic. Jack Nicholson hacks through the door with an axe, sticks his head through and says, "Here's Johnny." Double improvement. Jack Nicholson causes Titanic. It's not an iceberg, it's him smashing it with axe. Larios, just up to this channel, getting back into fish. Welcome. I hope I haven't put you off with my drunken ramblings about Jaws. Have you got any questions about fish? What are you keeping? You got one big fish tank, multiple fish tanks? What's your plan? Let us know in the chat. I really liked Quantum Leap as a kid. The new one isn't. I've never even seen the new one. There is a new one. They have redone The Shining. Hi Graham, really enjoying the stream. Any chance of showing us what's going on in the tanks behind you? No. Because of that, it's unplugged. I mean, I could try zooming. No, it's not even a zoom. No, I had a GoPro all plugged in, but it was causing us problems. Sorry. If you subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel, I will make an update video about these tanks, and you can learn all about them. Couple of years ago on Netflix, what, the Quantum Leap thing? Oh, I'm going to have to look into this. I like Quantum Leap as well. What's your opinion on red tiger discus? Says Hans. Quite like them. So the tiger discus is basically the striations go in a different direction. So someone named it tiger. So far I've seen blue, silver and red variants of this. I've not seen anyone manage to breed them true, so there's that whole debate about, is it really a strain if you can't get them to breed like that? But lovely. You're never going to get me to say anything bad about a discus other than those, what did they call them? It was like dark night discus or something like that. So there was two types. They called them, I'm going to have to look this up. One of them was shark bite discus. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Maybe it wasn't called shark bite discus because that's not bringing up any results. years ago, basically, there was a discus fish that was. It just looked like something had taken a bite out the back of it. I'm trying to find you a copy now, but I can't find anything. Which everyone was going mental for, and it was mostly people in the Far East that were going mad for it. We can find a picture, surely. We've got Google. Right, this isn't it, but it was something like that, but except it was like the back of it, and people were trying to pass it off as some kind of new strain, where you're like, no, it's just a completely deformed fish. Something's wrong with it. There was that, and then there was another one where it was a blue fish, but the front half of its face, like down here, was black. And it's what you see if a fish swims really fast and bashes itself into the side of the tank or something like that. It'll get basically a big bruise, nerve damage, something like that. And what they were doing was injecting it, or the theory was people were injecting these fish to kill the nerves on the front of it to make it look like it was a two-tone discus. So that is the horrible side of things. Your tigers, your blue tiger, red tigers, whatever they are, is just it's a genetic thing, a freak of breeding. A freak of breeding, that's probably not the right way to say things these days. It's more of a, in my mind, it's an okay consequence of breeding. People have bred these fish, they're coming out with stripes this way rather than this way, or this way rather than this way, whatever it might be. They look cool. I have a couple of tiger fish in I think I've got one silver or blue, or one of each in my fish tank at the moment, so yeah, I think they're great. I've just got a 90 litre and a 30. I'm going to get them going and hopefully get a pair of epistogramma and maybe a few angels for the 90. Sounds good. You missed my best Jaws 4 quote. You only need to blow the bloody shark up. Well, as it won't let me show it for some reason. It's been deleted a bit. Dr. Awesome saying, I do not like the tiger discus. The striations go the wrong way for me. That's the whole point. So the tiger thing is the lines, instead of going that way, go that way. And obviously that's been bred into it for a long way. It's very different from being a deformity. It's obviously been aiming at that, and it's fine. I like it, but it's not for everyone, and that's fine. I don't know why Streamlabs has decided to pick on Dr. Awesome and delete all his messages for foul language. I can see the messages. There isn't any foul language. I'm sorry. I hate balloonfish and most longfin varieties. Yeah. I'm not a fan of, in general, I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this, but I'm not a fan of dicking about with fish. Definitely not a fan of like tattooing, dyeing, all these practices you see around the place. The fish are beautiful enough. If they're not beautiful enough, just leave them be. Don't try and make them something that they're not. When that gets to become a discussion about hybrid fish or man-made fish, like flower horns, they don't exist. I keep a flower horn. He's one of my favourite fish. I make a distinction on that's very different to glowfish or dyeing a fish or tattooing a fish. A hybrid fish like that is not it's no more natural than dyeing a fish, but it is to me. It's you're creating something new through breeding. Okay, it doesn't exist in the wild. You wouldn't find it in the wild. If you released all the fish that go to make up a flower horn into a pond, would you eventually get a flower horn? Yes. If you released all the fish that go to make up a glow tetra into a pond, would you eventually get a glow tetra? No. That's the distinction. That's where I draw the line. I don't know why I'm talking about this anymore, but... Oh, the longfin varieties. So the longfin varieties, you will get longfin varieties. It will happen. It will happen in the wild. It won't happen with anything like the prevalence that it does in the trade, because as soon as somebody sees something they like it, they think, right, how can I make that more common? That's the best thing that we can get going. I've got a bunch of... you might have seen them when I talked about them in my latest aquarium auction. I got some bronze Corridoras, which were labelled as bronze Schultze Corridoras. They're just bronze Corridoras. Now that they're starting to come out their shells, I've noticed that about half of them have got long fins, like really long dorsal fins. And I thought, that's... I don't know what to think, basically. I'm thinking, that's a thing. I don't know whether I like it, hate it, or don't care. It's a thing. But the reason I mention that is because that will happen in the wild. Every now and again, a fish will be born with longer fins than another one. It's the whole thing about evolution and genetic traits that can get passed down. When we get involved, we try and make them more common or more prevalent, and that's the bit that some people go, don't do that, it's a bad thing. But it happens. Blood parrots, yeah, I'm not a fan of them, I must admit. Pardon me. Question from Brian, not really a question, but how can we get you a sponsor, seeing MD sponsor is paying him to go to Aquashella Dallas? I don't know. I'm still looking for my beer sponsors. We've got Fluval I've got on board. They keep sending me things. That's nice. I just need to keep grinding away. I'm sure we'll get the big bucks will come in soon, and people will want to get my opinion of going to Aquashella and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'd love that. I'd love to be able to retire and just do fishy stuff constantly. But even if someone was to pay for me to go to Aquashella, I doubt I could afford the time off. It's just a very busy at the moment. But you know, I think all you can do is keep watching the videos, keep clicking the links. If you're members of any Facebook groups or any other things, if you email the likes of Fluval or any of the other companies that are involved, say, I enjoy this guy's content. That's all we can do. Glowfish seem to have gone too far now. It was just tetras, but now it's loads of species. Species. Yeah. Someone, but he's kind of sponsored by Fluval currently. Kind of sponsored. They send me stuff every now and again. It's very different to being sponsored. But I am thankful, Fluval overlords. Keep sending me stuff. Hopefully I'll be at Aqua Telford next fall. Well, Aqua Telford is being opened up to the public for the first time this year, I think. So we might meet in person, Dr. Awesome. I'd like to go to Aqua Telford. I've been the last couple of years. My story of going to Aqua Telford, because it's a trade show. It's for people who are in the aquatic trade to go and find out what's going on. So you've got all the big names like Sea Kim, Fluval, Tetra, whatever it might be. They all have their own booths. I think because it's not been on because of COVID, but pre-COVID, I went a couple of times. And to be able to get an invite, you had to be in the trade and say what your business was. The first time I went, I didn't really get this. And you had to fill in a form online. And I went there and I turned up, and you get to the door and they say, "Oh, can we have your business card, please? And then we'll give you your tickets." So I had got some business card printed up saying, "Oh, Aquarium Adventures, all over YouTube, blah, blah, blah." Just, in fact, I'll dig some out next time. But anyway, I got these business cards made up, and that was fine. I gave them that. Is it alright to do some filming? Blah, blah, blah. They were like, "Filming? No, of course not. No, it's a trade show. It's got secrets, blah, blah." Well, alright, okay. You hand over your business card, and they give you a pass that you have to wear around your neck on a lanyard. And mine said, "Mr. YouTube." So I was wandering around this trade show with Mr. YouTube round my neck, and everyone was like, "It's a guy from YouTube." So they were all like sidling up to me going, "Do you want to come and film my booth about this, that and the other?" And it was the first time I met George Farmer, first time I met like Pond Guru. I met loads of different people from big companies who were being paid to be there by the companies, and then me, and they were all trying to get on with me because they thought I was from YouTube. And I'm there with my phone like that. "So tell me about the thing." So that was my experience. So because I got to go to the first one a few years ago, I got invited back to the next one and the next one. Never went to any of the dinners or anything, because they always have a big dinner for the trade shows. But this year is the first year where it's open to the public as well. So you've got the trades selling direct to the public, which it just makes so much more sense. You had all these things that were really interesting. Why wouldn't you allow the public in? But so if you're going next year, I think we'll do that as well. When did you get your first sponsorship offer? I'm still waiting. I still get like almost daily at the moment requests from various brands to say, "Oh, we've been watching your videos. I really love them. I think we'd be a great fit together. Would you be interested in doing a sponsored video? Here's my product." And you're like, it's like a dog water bowl. Like, in what way would this fit with my audience? So get them all the time. Every now and again I get something that's useful. So I've got a really pushy one about a camera that's actually really good, but they are really pushy, so I don't want to talk about it too much. Or the odd one of an aquarium shop or a company will send me some stuff, say, "Can you talk about this?" Yeah, that's fine. Fluval's the biggest one, where they've said, "We'll send you some stuff if you can use it." That's fine. It's not really sponsored because they're not paying me anything. They're just sending me a filter or sending me some food or sending me some whatever. But that's as close as I've got to a sponsorship. I'm more than happy to take it though. You have my sympathies for visiting Telford. Yeah, Telford's not great. But other than that, yeah, I don't want to leave it like on a bad note or anything. But anyway, we're about time up. Cold Water Aquatics is probably streaming. If you want to go and watch that, you can let them know that I sent you across. But otherwise, we'll see you next week, or we'll see you in the week. We'll talk about some other stuff on the videos. Thank you very much. Bye bye. I have 13 concurrent viewers, even though I've not been on stream for the last 10 minutes. Bye, everyone.